Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is Optibotimus again with my second part video review of my Decepticon Deluxe Class Barricade figure. In this video I'm going to show you how to transform him into his alternate, or his robot mode. So let's go ahead and get started doing that. First thing that you want to do is have me angle my camera up a little bit more. Okay, now this part's a little bit tricky, but when you're transforming him back into his robot mode. So what you want to do is go ahead and grab hold of the side panels here. I usually will separate the bottom right on the opposite sides of where it says police. It separates, and that'll release the doors kind of. Go ahead and pull those out. Like I said, it's a little pain, but go ahead, pull those out, and then just shift those up, like so. And do the same to the other side, shifting those up. So now you have Barricade with his doors hanging out. Let me get a little bit more light maybe in this. Okay. So here you have them just like that. Then what I go ahead and do is come on down, turn them around so that you have them on this side. This side, this right here, I'm going to lift these up. This right here, these are his feet. Go ahead and just take those and lower those down. Then take the hood, just kind of rotate it. Just kind of rotate him up a little bit like that. The legs separate and then shift up into place. Separate and shift up into place, just like so. Then on the side, you have it still bent. A little bit more light here. On the side, you can see here's his thigh, here's his leg. All you need to do is just kind of bend that down, get that down into place. Do the same on the other leg, just like so. Up under here, you will be able to separate, just pull back, and the figure being black, he's a little bit complicated at his waist. Just shift that back just a little, and you'll see holes on the underside and pegs. You're able to put the pegs into the hole, putting them in this position right here. Go ahead and swivel his arms down. Yeah, that's a little too much light. That's a little bit better, I guess. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and swivel his arms down. Then on the top, you'll see that the hood has a line that goes down it. Go ahead and take that and just separate those. Pull those two sides apart, and you'll expose his head underneath. So then what you want to do, take this back windshield and push that back, and as you do with your other finger, push forward his head, just like so. Push the windshield all the way back, and then take the door windshield, and just lift those all the way up. Now, I go ahead and push his panels back together, just kind of closing the gap there. Now, on his back feet, there is a trick. He's got very, very loose feet. But there's a trick, at least on my figure. There's a small little tab. If you push the ankle, the back heel, back far enough, it'll kind of lock into place, at least on one side. Not so much on the other one, but it's enough where he'll be able to stand with it. Then what you want to do is, on his hands, at the very top, there's a thumb piece. You just lift that up. And then separate the hands a little from the rest of the panel there. So you got a nice separation like that. Go ahead and do that to this side. Again, lift up the thumb. And then lift up the other hand piece a little just to get a bit of a separation there. Not too much, but enough where you can tell that it's a hand, basically. And there you have Barricade in his robot mode. Now, as you can see, he's kind of wobbly. Maybe you can't see it very well, but he's a little wobbly. And that's mostly because of his other leg. It doesn't really hold very firm, so he's kind of harder to get to position easier. But a couple different things. You have in terms of his coloring and such, obviously the black and such is still there. That doesn't change. There's a little bit of silver and some purple that you can kind of see, but not really. That's purple right there. Some purple on his arm. Black hands. Couple problems that I have with this figure. Number one, his head will not rotate. Now, if you extend these panels out further, his head will extend up just a little, and you can close these, but you don't get it closing very tight, unless I'm not being able to pull it up far enough. But, no, that's as high as he goes. So, you can't really close the panels very well when you have him when his head is that extended. So I just keep his head lowered a little, then you can close the panels a little bit more. So it's not too terribly bad like that. He does have a translucent clear piece on his head, which gives him the red eye look, which that looks kind of cool. I'm glad I found this little light. It's better than my other one. So that's pretty nice. One of the problems that I have is his gimmick in his robot mode is this arm thing here. If you watch, let me get on this side. If you push this little lever back, see, now he don't want to do it when I want him to. See, it comes out, and it's supposed to be a little, I don't know. In the scene where he fights Bumblebee, he does have kind of an arm in this kind of a position where he's able to swing it and attack, but I don't know, it's very loose, and it doesn't really stay locked up there very well, so he's not the best with that. The other problem I have is he has very limited posability in his feet because the one angle is kind of retarded. Articulation, his hands can go all the way around. He's got good articulation there. He's got some he can bend at the elbows, and they can also move a little out like this. A lot of times what I'll do with these pieces up here is I'll rotate those just so that you can kind of bend them and you get a little bit more rotation in them, but whatever, you can do whatever you guys want to do. His legs, obviously, they can swing at the waist. Little flexibility in the knee, not too much, mostly because the arms, or the way the legs are positioned, you can kind of see they're always bent. There's his thigh and there's that. So, and then there's no articulation really in his feet because you need to keep them locked in to be able to pose them. Overall, he's a decent figure. I think he could be better. His head is one of my biggest problems, as well as his joint in his arm, the gimmick. He's kind of got retarded hands, but they're not too bad. In terms of the overall description, that's it for Barricade, but he's not a bad figure, unlike his alternate mode, which I think is better. Barricade and his robot mode is only going to get about a 7. I'm going to give him a 7 rating. He's not the best, but he's definitely not the worst. He's cool looking. He grows on you, but he could have been a lot better. So, alternate mode, much better. Here's his robot mode. So stay tuned for part 3. I'll show you how to transform him back into his robot self. Thanks for tuning in.